Welcome to the Age of Revolution website. My name is Dave, and I want to recount something of the site's evolution. Some 30 years ago, as a prep school English teacher, I set out to create a series of computer programs that would bring together narrative text, animated maps, and music to engage users in the telling of history. It was the dawn of the multimedia computer era, and while I knew very little about programming, I was determined to learn, and soon became a devotee of an early authoring system called Toolbook. At the same time, I was lucky enough to enlist two talented friends and teaching colleagues to serve as content developers. And after thinking over likely scenarios, we made the rashly ambitious decision to produce a comprehensive study of the Civil War. Somehow the scheme took on a life of its own, and when not engaged in our day jobs, we went to work on our various project assignments, eventually completing the work 3 years later in 1995. At this point, having learned the basics of CD-ROM production, I cut a master disk and arranged for a run of 1,000 copies. We were now up and running with a readily distributable standalone program for the computer desktop featuring book-length text, animated maps, period music, and more. I sent copies to various reviewers, and the work received good notices, whereupon I did some advertising, acquired an 800 number, and began selling discs to the general public over the phone. In time, a computer game publisher called, and I ended up leasing the material for packaging with their game disc. Meanwhile, I had quit teaching to work solo on a new title on the Napoleonic Wars. This was completed in 1998. At which point I contacted the original development team with a plan to get the band back together, as it were, for a final project on the American Revolution. This was released in 2001. Soon enough, however, it became clear that CD-ROM was on its way to the dustbin of computer peripherals, and I took up web programming in order to transfer the series to the browser. All of which is to say that the website represents a good deal of work across various platforms and technologies, not to mention across growing partisan tensions on the national scene. While it was never our intention at the outset to tell the origin story of modern popular democracy, in the end that's what we produced, and in view of the country's increasing divisions, the mission has come to seem timely, if not prescient. We've heard a great deal of late from a political faction that shows little regard for the very concept of government, let alone the democratic process. A faction that espouses a notion of patriotism under which make-believe militiamen have been inspired to attack the nation's capital and maim and kill its defenders, all for the sake of misbegotten notions of the meaning of America's revolutionary heritage. In contrast to such notions, Age of Revolution proudly offers a more traditional and decidedly more celebratory account of the nation's past, with due appreciation for a style of government that has become a standard throughout the world. We hope viewers might take some consolation in this, and come to see our democracy as a hard-won achievement wrested from a violent past, rather than a modern invitation to random violence. If you like what you see, read, and hear, please share your experience with others. And in any case, thanks for stopping by.